Finding inspiration isn't always the easiest thing in the world to do, and sometimes you just have to get out of your comfort zone and find new and interesting things to do to try to find that spark again. I know it sounds tough, I know it sounds difficult, but it's what we all need to do if we really want to get out of the rut that we get ourselves stuck into. And if you're anything like me, you get yourself stuck in this quite often. And it can be quite a struggle to climb your way out, especially when you feel burned out and exhausted, and it just seems like nothing's ever going to change, and you feel stagnant. But there are things that you can do to get that spark back.
You know, it's not often that I find opportunities like this to test out new gear and new pieces of equipment that I really enjoy using. So right now I've got my Hollyland Lark Max on my chest here with the windscreen on it, the Dead Cat, on a very, very windy day and some hiking trails. So seeing how well this holds up to this really strong wind is going to be the ultimate test of how good this thing works. In a noisy, windy environment like this, with a river and trees and all sorts of noises going on all around me. So hopefully this actually holds through.
Most of the time, I end up being my own worst enemy, and I talk myself into these very weird, cyclical mental states of perfectionism and not being good enough, where my perfectionist side turns on and I want to create things because it is something that I love, whether it's music or filmmaking. But then the not being good enough side of me kicks in and starts to talk to me about, oh, I'm not good enough for this. Why would anybody care? Why would anybody consume the things that I make? And honestly, this is very crippling a lot of times.
You know, I don't always feel the greatest to get up and make any kind of content, go to shoot any kind of photos, go to record any videos, but sometimes you just kind of have to get yourself and get out and do something different from what you're usually used to. I'm not usually the first person to want to get up and get out of the house because all of my fun toys and gadgets are in my studio at home. But there is also a side of me that does like going out in nature and observing things and just being in a peaceful, different place from what I'm normally used to. I'm not in the greatest shape of my life, but going out on a hike in some kind of trail like I am right now is something that I actually find a lot of enjoyment in, especially when I can take my camera and shoot some cool videos, take some cool pictures, and just make it something that's a little more enjoyable than just walking through nature. It challenges me to compose my shots a little bit differently, try to come up with new and innovative angles and compositions to make my videos interesting, and just find cool things to shoot and record. That may not always be the easiest thing when you're stuck in the same place every day doing the same thing with the same stuff around you. Getting out in a very different environment can actually be pretty inspiring and give you opportunities to shoot some really cool stuff that may just be your next favorite thing. Get out sometime. Get out of the house. It's good for you. It's good for you. You know, finding the interesting things in life aren't always the easiest, and take for example what I'm doing right now. This is not something that I'm used to normally doing. This is very much out of my comfort zone. There are people around that are obviously watching me. I'm out in nature. I'm doing kind of a, I don't know, different style of video than what I'm used to, and it's good though. It's good for me. It gets me out to do something different. And I can get some cool scenes and find some awesome things like this. It may seem pretty simple and pretty stupid, but it's just some roadblocks at the end of some pathway near a park with a river on the other side. And that may not be the most interesting thing in the world, but it's definitely more interesting than me sitting in my chair in my studio. So it at least has some merit to trying out new and different things. So if you are stuck, just remember, inspiration can strike at any time, anywhere, from anything. So just get out there, try some new things, get out of your comfort zone, and create some new memories. You just might find that new inspiration.